I don't know. You have your, I think, there you go.
Yeah, someone just woke up.
Ah, well, they too can have coffee. So who is named Livono Laptop? Hey. Good morning. Good morning. I'm presuming that you can hear me when I say good morning. Thanks, Caroline. Because I think everybody shows up, it's one of the toggle switches, is everybody shows up with your microphone muted. So don't know if that's the right thing to do or not, but at least it's something. Ah, you're alone again. Morning, Bella.
Good morning.
Where did Anna go? I saw her here for a moment.
I am right here.
You are.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh,
We all have our morning routines. I hope it doesn't bother you that we start at 9 instead of 8. I figured if we had this luxury, we might as well take advantage of it.
That's fine with me.
I'll have another meeting for a different class at 9:30. So
Yeah, that's no problem. These are limited to the amount of time we have. So, and if you need to leave, Abby, you need to leave. That's okay. It's all fine. We're all trying to figure out our way in this.
What? No, they're on my nightstand.
Solomon, you don't want to make yourself seen? Are you shy this morning?
I suppose I can turn my camera on.
You don't have to. Good morning.
Hello.
Well, I suppose we can say hello to folks as they come in. Are you able to see my screen itself? Is that all you see? You don't see me, or you see me in a corner or something? I don't know what you see.
Yeah, you're in the corner.
Yeah.
I'm in the corner. Okay. Nobody puts baby in the corner, as they say. Okay. Well, welcome to the new normal. I missed you guys. I hope you are all safe and sound and healthy and happy. You appear to be. Giovanna, you are in Fargo? Yep. Okay. Because I think they're in lockdown in Brazil too, are they not? Yeah. And what I really wanted to do this morning is, this is more test than anything, so we have to figure out how we're going to move forward, and I have to get used to the controls and the buttons and the capability, and we have to figure out ways for us to proceed with the persuasive speeches. And how are you going to upload them? Are you going to give them on this type of venue like this? We're limited to like 40 minutes, I believe, is what Concordia has. I don't know what the cost would be for Concordia writ large for them to have the bigger package, but I'm sure it's rather daunting. So we've got a 40-minute maximum that we can use for our class time. That makes it more difficult, as you can imagine, for us to do our speeches online like this. So that perhaps we just do 2 meetings in a row. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. Okay. Another opportunity for us is for you to record your speeches at your leisure. You can then record it again if you think that it wasn't up to your standards, and then upload it. And that is fine by me as well. All right. So whatever we do, we'll figure it out. What I really wanted to focus on here is how are we going to ensure that you understand the principles of persuasion? I presume that you have your book and it's clutched tightly to you. You have it under your pillow every night. You are referring to it often. I know it is a riveting read, and you love that book so much. The reality is that book does contain a lot of great information on how to have a strategy that is persuasive in nature. Really what I'm looking to ensure through working with you on your outlines is to ensure that your outline reflects a strategy that leverages the tools that we talked about before for persuasion. Are you making an appeal? Are you crafting an argument? Are you supporting your argument with proper evidence, right? All of these things that are necessary. I tried to give you some clues in the assignment description that for a persuasive speech, I'm looking for you to have a very specific persuasive pattern. And there's a variety of patterns that you can use, but I think the one that I list on there is problem, cause, solution. Why? It's simply the most common one. Now, what that entails then is that you set your main points in that very order. Your first main point is to describe what exactly the problem is. Your second main point is for you to describe, if necessary, what are the causes for that problem. And then your third point is to describe a solution for it. Another way of going about that is to first describe a problem and then to describe a solution, and then follow that up with perhaps the benefits for that solution. Does that make sense? Those are not the only kinds of patterns that you use for persuasion. Obviously, there is a very simplified one called claim and reason. Here you make a claim and you provide the reasons for that, and that should ultimately lead your audience to what it is that you are intending, that they are convinced by your persuasive speech to come to your conclusion. All right?
Are we supposed to be seeing a slideshow right now?
No. Did you want to?
And I was just making sure that we weren't on the wrong.
I have, where here? Preparing to persuade. Maybe this will be a good thing for us to take a look at. Now, again, please tell me if you are seeing this or not, and I'll be good, all right? Hey, all right, you see it? I see a bunch of small nodding heads. It's wonderful. Thank you. I like that, Solomon. Good job. All right. This is something that I've posted, so we don't really have to go through this so in depth, but what I'm attempting to do here is to ensure that you have a strategy that you can use. So this PowerPoint is dedicated to that, helping you to prepare your persuasive speech. First of all, you need to have a topic that is amenable to something that's persuasive. You are the ones that are going to decide what it is that you want to persuade your audience of. Your position statement is something that you decide on what you want to do. Are you making a statement of fact, value, of policy? Do you have an understanding of what the differences are of those things? I presume you do. It doesn't seem all that difficult to understand what a value is. It's what you find that's important. What is it that you prioritize? Policy is how it is that we should address something. So a statement of fact allows us to question things that, as example, a statement of fact. It seems pretty common that people believe that there is climate change, right? So there are those who are don't believe in climate change, and they try and question the facts, the underlying facts that relate to that, so that they can convince us to doubt the climate change conclusions. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? All right. So the different types of things that you're going to try and do, you're going to try and change our attitude towards something, or our degree of conviction about something, change our behaviors or our actions, right? So what you're attempting to do is to get us to stop smoking, as example, or start isolating yourself, or be careful for your neighbors, right? Those are things that you can influence behavior on. And the last one is this influence social cohesion. Just means, how is it that you are inspiring us? Think of what your coaches do, or maybe your pastor or rabbi or whatever. They are trying to make you better in the expressions of your faith, as example, or better in your play of the game. You already know how to run, Solomon, right? But your coach gets you fired up. He gets you inspired to push yourself that much farther and harder. So that's what that's all about. I'm not really curious at this time for you guys to look at things that are controversial. Those can be fun topics. Those are great things for you to practice on with friends and family, especially around the dinner table on Thanksgiving. Make sure you find the most controversial topics. It makes the evening more exciting. But in this class, really, I want to avoid controversy, primarily because things like abortion, people already have figured out what their position is on that topic. You're not going to change any minds. You're not really going to be successful, right, in leading people to the conclusion that you are hoping to find. So let's avoid things that are controversial. You know your audience. You know who your audience is and what their preferences are. You've been with us for that amount of time. You know your audience is primarily students like you. So with that in mind, find a topic that you can convince them of, that you think you're going to speak right to their hearts and right to their brains. Logic matters, right? You need to ensure that you follow the Toulmin model of argumentation. Again, just to be repetitive, you are making a claim, providing evidence, and we need to understand, we need to hear, we need to recognize that the evidence that you are providing speaks directly to the claim that you are making, okay? It's good to be prepared that should you have reluctance out there, be aware of why an audience might be reluctant to believing you or following your persuasive appeal. So understand your topic completely. All right, so understand what it is that your audience might be hostile towards or reluctant to follow. It's good to have a strategy where you perhaps provide the benefits of things. Maybe you want to give us an example of how we can accomplish it. If you were going to say to me, Chris, you need to change your behavior and start running. So Solomon says, here are the shoes, and go out and run a marathon. And I die. Well, that would be a bad outcome. So how do you get me to actually begin the process of running? So eventually, at some distant, fanciful future, I am actually able to run a marathon. Well, you do what they call small gradual changes. That's pretty straightforward, right? Get off the couch, that's step one. Start walking, step two. Start walking farther, step three. Gaining some endurance, right? Then start running, walking, running, walking. Make your distance farther and farther. Stick to a schedule. Those are the strategies that you use ultimately to be successful, right? When I quit smoking, what was the strategy for me to quit smoking? For me to throw the pack away and be good with life? That's not the reality, right? When I quit smoking because I had, first of all, a very supportive network of people around me. And I had Nicorette gum. Yes, Nicorette gum, like I chewed like a madman until I could finally break myself of the addiction to nicotine. It took time. I did quit smoking on one date, but I was using the tools, the steps that Nicorette gum and then weaning myself from Nicorette gum allowed me. That is how one becomes successful. All right. Lastly, make sure that you are using, it says here on the screen, make sure you are following the most effective persuasive pattern. That goes back to what I was saying earlier, which is the pattern matters. I'm specifically listening for that in your speech. I'll be looking for that in your outline. Did you arrange your speech such that it has a pattern? And that pattern is something that is going to lead us logically to your conclusion. Here's just a chart for giving you some suggestions on how to arrange that, okay? And this is found right on the Moodle page for you. Obviously, you're going to be working on your outline, and the outline should be a solid reflection of what your plan is for your speech. All of these things matter. Your introduction, of course, matters. Your conclusion, of course, matters. We talked about the body of your speech above when I was talking about patterns. All of those things are as vital as ever before. And they are specifically vital in a persuasive speech because you want your audience to be left convinced, not confused, okay? When I'm looking at the end product of your outline, I'm going to make sure that it is that proper reflection of your intention. I'm going to look to see how you've grounded your evidence. Do you have your sources? Really, I'm just looking at that to be certain that it is a tool that is helping you. And of course, in an academic setting, we are looking for APA style. We're looking for a bibliography. I'm not going to be able to judge your note cards, so don't worry so much about that. You, of course, can use them, but you get my point. When you get it together, it would be great for me to see what your visual aids are. If you want to upload your PowerPoint presentation, that would be great, okay? Am I saying you have to use PowerPoint? No, but you have to be descriptive of what you would use otherwise. Or if you record your speech, it has to be evident what your visual aids are. Okay, questions on that? All right. So my hope is that by the end of this week, you will at least have given me a draft outline that is something that I can provide feedback on. That is, yeah. I'm trying to figure out how to do this because I created the assignment to allow you to post things, but I haven't figured out how yet to edit that so that you see what my comments are and get it back to you, and then we can have some sort of document exchange. That didn't work the way I was hoping. So I think there are ultimately a variety of things that I can use. I've got space on the cloud in my Google account that I can use that. We can share that space for this assignment. That might be a way to use it. I'll figure it out, okay? And it won't be long for you to be able to do it. In the meantime, if you really are itching for some feedback, make sure you put it on your, you guys all have that Microsoft OneDrive, right? I think that comes with your Concordia account. You can upload it to that and share it with me in an email, and that's one way to do it as well, okay? But email me is what I'm really getting at, and we can communicate back and forth that way. All right. So next week is when we're really going to be drilling down as best we can on this persuasive speech. I'm going to be able to assign then groups. We'll have a meaningful group project that you guys can do together. Hey, hello, Kitty. And how many groups are there going to be? Probably three groups of you together. You will work collaboratively, cooperatively. Obviously, this requires that all of you have a same or similar degree of technology. And I don't know if that's the case. So we will figure that out, as they say. But that's the whole reason for this group project, is for you to communicate with each other, understand not only what the project is, but to understand what your capabilities are and what your needs are and what your assets are and what your skills and talents are, right? And you then delegate based on what your analysis is of all of that. So that is the next big project beyond our persuasive speech. And lastly, we will talk about impromptu speeches. That'll be fun, and we can do impromptu speeches in a setting such as this without much problem. I have to figure out how to do a final exam for you that's meaningful on a distance setting. I noticed that when I went to campus the other day and tried to use my key fob to get into my office, it didn't work. So I can't get into my office, at least not yet. I have a departmental meeting today, so I'll get that answered. Anybody have any questions? It is truly wonderful to see you all, and I hope that this recording is saved somewhere that I can post it. That would be a lovely thing. And I will see you all on Monday. Again, do not fear sending me an email. I promise I will get back to you as soon as I can. And thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful morning. Hope you're all enjoying a nice cup of coffee. Just to make sure that you see that I'm hydrating, I also have orange juice. And hopefully more of us can make it, right, in the future. Have a wonderful day, everybody. All right?
You too.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Bye-bye.